Welcome, beautiful soul, to the I Vote for Me Women's Summit, where women choose themselves without apology. I'm Sherry Queen She Burden, your host and guide for this transformative experience. I created this summit because every woman deserves a space where her voice is honored, her story is valued, and her worth is non negotiable. I Vote for Me is more than a movement. It's a declaration that we are done shrinking, done settling, and done abandoning ourselves. This year's theme, Cultivating Self-Worth, invites you to rise into the truth of who you are. Not the version shaped by expectations, trauma, or survival, but the version rooted in confidence, clarity, and self-love. Throughout this summit, you'll hear from powerful women who have rebuilt themselves from the inside out, and their stories will meet you exactly where you are. I'm honored we're here and that you are here. I'm proud of you for choosing yourself today. And now, let's begin this journey together with our speaker, whose message will open your heart and set the tone for everything that follows. Today I have the honor of introducing another hometown girl from Newport News, Virginia, Miss Catrina Clark. Catrina is a woman who has rebuilt her life with courage, faith, and determination. She earned her bachelor's in psychology in 2017 and is now just 6 months away from completing her master's in psychology, a true testament to her commitment to growth and healing. She is a certified life coach and the founder of Louisa 57, her coaching and mentoring practice. She also leads a powerful street ministry called Breath of Life, Come As You Are, and serves as an engagement manager for a nonprofit that equips youth with financial literacy, entrepreneurship skills, and work readiness. Catrina and I first met about 10 years ago in Maryland when I was auditioning for a play her brother wrote titled Come As You Are. And the title alone fits our theme this year, a reminder that every woman deserves to show up as she is without apology, without pretense, and without shrinking. Her journey has included profound loss and major life transitions, losing a job of 8 years, the passing of her mother, divorce, and the quiet shift of an empty nest. But every setback became a setup for her resilience, her purpose, and her rebirth. Today, she stands as a woman who believes in restoration, reinvention, and yes, in love. She knows her special made man is still searching for her. I am grateful she said yes to being part of this summit and to pouring her heart into all of you today. It is my pleasure to introduce Miss Catrina Clark.
My name is Catrina Clark. I go by Coach Catrina, and I live in Maryland, like to call it DMV. I was born in DC, lived in Virginia for a long time, but now I reside in Maryland. Earlier in my life, self-worth to me, I based my worth upon what I could do for other people. I felt like I always had to be of service to people, which is a good thing, but it's not a good thing when that's all that you do. Me being in service to others a lot of times allowed me to shrink. I didn't venture out and do different things. I accommodated others more than I did for myself. Desires, dreams, and passions, I didn't pursue those things. So now I'm a single woman, divorced. I got my college degree. I have a business. My self-worth has evolved over time into the person that I am now, and I value me a whole lot more. I have learned to be of service to others still, but not to the detriment of myself. Because I still serve, I do a lot of things for other people. I'm on nonprofits, ministry, various things, giving financially, offering advice and things like that. But I don't do it at a detriment to myself. Oh my, yes. Well, I have a book about my life as a child growing up in foster care. I know all about the roots of me, as I was saying before, being of service and then being quiet because I was a foster care child. I was in what was called kinship care, where you're not raised by your mom or your dad, but you're raised by family members. So I was raised by my biological uncle and his wife, my aunt. It was a bad childhood. It was a very bad childhood. Every form of abuse you could think of, I endured. Just small things like cleaning the bathtub. So the story behind that is that I was in foster care up until around the age of 5 years old. One day I leave my foster family and then I'm all of a sudden living with my aunt and uncle. So around five, just before I start kindergarten. I go from a place where I felt like being a kid was fun to all of a sudden being in a home where there's a whole bunch of structure. And then if you don't know something, the way that you learn is by getting physically disciplined. I mean, I'm 5, 6 years old. I'm having to clean the bathtub. Do you know any 5 or 6 year olds that know how to clean a bathtub? Really? No, they can't even reach the bathtub. I didn't really know how to clean the bathtub. So you know what would happen to me? My face was pushed down into water. So this day, I have a fear of, I love water, but I have a fear of going all the way underwater. I keep saying I'm going to overcome that by taking swimming classes. So that's just one of the many stories in my book that I wrote about me growing up and having to just be the one to just do as I'm told to do. If things aren't right, I get disciplined. But then as I'm getting disciplined, don't cry, don't say nothing, be quiet. I'm going to school having busted lip, bruises, and everything, but I can't say anything. But yet, when I get home, I know I got to do X, Y, Z and everything and my homework. And on top of that, if I don't get my homework right or I don't understand it, then I get disciplined because I don't understand something in my homework. So this life from 5 years old up until I'm older, I have always learned to be of service to people because at the age of 5, I've moved into this home where I'm automatically the oldest. My cousin was like 2 or so at the time. As time went along, my aunt would have more children, but I'm always the oldest. And I was told that you're the oldest, you got to do this. And it didn't matter how I felt. I remember a few times telling my sister's cousin how I didn't like different things that she was doing in our bedroom. I got popped in the mouth for saying that. So I couldn't even express something to somebody that's my sibling, how I don't like things, how what she was doing was wrong because I had to make my bed up and clean up and everything. Her bed was all piled up with clothes and everything, but I couldn't express that her bed, it was a bunk bed, just FYI. I couldn't express that her bunk bed was just dirty and it's making our room all dirty. But I had my bed had to be clean, my clothes had to be put away, but hers couldn't. And I'm telling this to her, and next thing I know, I'm getting popped in the mouth for telling her to clean up, but yet I had to be clean. So it was like real confusing and it made me be quiet. No matter how I saw things that were wrong, I couldn't express. what I thought was wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong and unfair, but I couldn't say it because then I would be disciplined. So that ingrained in me as a child, and it carried on into adulthood. Various people that I would help to a fault of myself. And then times when I would express things, it was like, why are you saying that? You're not supposed to say anything. So that stayed with me for a while. But as I got older and I learned how good it felt to be in my own place, I learned how good it felt to say no to things and to stand on the no. The more I did that, gave me more confidence in knowing who I am. And going back to what you said about boundaries, I have those more firmly now because I know more of who I am. And my no means no, and it may make some people mad, but it makes me glad. Yes, there were was actually a series of things over time. As of recent is when I got out of my marriage. It was not a good marriage. I knew it wasn't probably going to be a good marriage, but I just felt that I was supposed to be doing that at that time. The person I married was not the person that he portrayed himself to be when I first met. When I realized that the marriage was a botched marriage, I still said, I'm going to stay in it. I'm going to stay in it. This is what I'm committed to. I'm going to stay in it. I'm going to stay in it. But as I was doing that, I was always sad. I was always depressed and various things like that. But it wasn't until I caught him cheating to where I was like, you know what? That's enough, Catrina. That's enough. So what I did is I got me a U-Haul truck, loaded up the U-Haul truck, lived in a hotel for a year as I decided on what I was going to do next. And I went to school. I lived in a hotel and utilized the Wi-Fi in a hotel on my teeny little notebook. It wasn't even a laptop, it was a notebook. That right there was the beginning of my journey of discovering another side of me, an independent side of me, and a woman on the mission to get her college degree. Yes, that worthiness of love is something that I'm still discovering because I've been divorced now almost 9 years. For 4 years, I didn't date, I didn't do anything because I was just confused about who to trust and who not to trust. About 3 years ago, started dating again. And I had the opportunity to discover the two people that I thought I was dating seriously. The way they're treating me is not what I deserve. I learned what I deserve, unfortunately, by being mistreated. It's sad, but it's one of those things where you have to go through the bad in order to discover the good. It's been a year and a half since I've dated, and I've told myself this year I'm going to date again because I deserve to be out there. I deserve for someone to love me as I am. And I'm the type of person that's constantly evolving. I'm constantly evolving, constantly getting myself together, constantly doing different things and venturing out and doing this and learning this. I tell myself that I'm a great person. And because I tell myself that I'm a great person, that's the image and the treatment that I know that I deserve. And so that's the only thing that I accept. Yeah, that's another thing that's constantly evolving. But the number one thing that I believe is that I tell myself that I am worth it. I tell myself that often. like various holidays that are coming up and stuff. For a while, for some time, I thought that, oh, it's a holiday. I'm not with someone, so I'm not worthy of celebrating that holiday. Now, holidays come up, I do stuff for me because I know that I am worthy. I tell myself that I am worthy. It was a mentor of mine that said that the way you treat yourself is how other people are going to treat you, is how other people are going to view you. So if you're constantly telling yourself nobody loves me and everything, someone that hears that has the mindset of taking advantage of others, they will do that. I have realized that it's been a year since I've gone on a date, but at the same time, I know that I'm still worth being loved and dateable because I tell myself I am worth that. It's funny that you say that because I'm a business owner. I do some contract work. I have a part-time job where I work for local government, and all these various roles that I have, I must have boundaries because I discovered that trying to juggle them all, I was getting sad. I was sitting around depressed. I was very anxious and I could not sleep. So now I schedule and I flat out tell people, okay, I'll see if it fits in my schedule. Well, this is on my calendar. There were times I would overbook myself. Now it's very rare that I overbook myself. I give myself 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes in between different things. And then sometimes in those 20 minutes to an hour, I'm chilling. I'm really, really just chilling. Like I love to watch game shows. I love to see people win, or I love to see people act a fool or whatever. So sometimes I would just turn on a game show like Family Feud or something to that effect. That's a 20, 30-minute segment that I sit there and I just enjoy that moment, knowing that I have something else to do. I give myself more time to just enjoy spurts in the middle of my day or the middle of the week so that I don't over exert myself and I don't give anybody the impression that they are the most important anymore. I don't I treat people like they are important because they are important, but I don't give them the satisfaction of making them seem like they are the most important, that they dominate me. And I'm in a place now where I control everything. I try my best to control everything. And if there are times when I overdo some things, that's fine. It's only going to be for a moment because I'm at this age now where my body lets me know you're doing too much. So chill out, girl. And so those boundaries they're essential for me because I tell people I'm Coach Catrina, you're a mind coach, but if I'm overwhelmed and I'm saying Coach Catrina, and then people are looking at me that know me outside of social media or whatever, they're like, you ain't no girl, go sit your tail down. So I don't want somebody else telling me to go sit my tail down when I'm putting on this image to the world. I want the image that I put onto the world be the very same thing that when someone comes to my home or they see me just in day-to-day things, that I'm the same person. So boundaries are essential in everything I do. And then when it comes to romantic relationships, as I said, the couple of people that I was dating, they didn't want things to progress. They didn't want that. For a while, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. But every time I said that's fine, a piece of me inside were hurt. So I got to a point like, why do I keep hurting me? Why am I hurting me? Of all people, I should not be hurting me. Me saying that I should be treated less than how I want to be treated, what gives me real joy and satisfaction in life. Why am I doing that just to say that I'm dating this person? I think a lot of times in real life, people are in quote unquote relationships, romantic relationships, just to say they have it. I will not. I will not. And both people that I was dating, it I ended it. It was just like, okay, no problem. We ain't committed. Fine, move on. And that was it. Stop accepting the calls and everything. Why diminish me to let that person put me in a little teeny box and only open up the box every so often? No, 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 not me, not anymore.
That
Yeah, that's still something that still comes up where I think that I'm not enough, especially when it comes to people that I know and I see the lifestyle. It can be I'm not enough in regards to not having a fancy car or not having a big house or not going on this big vacation or not having a ring on my finger. Holidays have come up. I wasn't with anybody for the holidays, things like that. So sometimes my mind does get distorted because I get into the comparison. I think a lot of times that's where our self doubt comes in and when we are sitting there comparing ourselves to other people. But at the same time, because I'm at a place in my life where I have seen the other side of people and I've seen the other side of situations and relationships. People come to me and talk to me and tell me all kinds of stuff, and they know that I will keep it for them. So I know the other side of things. So I know that a lot of times what's being presented is not what really is. And so because I have a bigger view of things, I can sit back and say, Katrina, you know that it takes XYZ to accomplish this thing. If you're not in a position to accomplish that thing, XYZ, that's okay. Now, to tell myself, that's okay. Because I know that I'm on a path to something. I know that I'm working towards something. So I already know that I'm putting in the work to get something done. So that right there is contradictory to me saying that I'm not worth something. Because what I may not be worth in that respect, I'm working towards something in this regards. And in this regard, this thing that I'm working in comes way bigger than the other thing that I thought temporarily that I thought that I wasn't worth having or I wasn't worth being perceived as worthy of it. When all along, the fact that I'm working towards something and putting myself into things, I'm already showing me that I'm worth it. So it's me putting the work into it. And so I like that last part that you said. So what is your voice doing for you and not against you? Sometimes the negativity is what you need to fuel you to do the very thing against what that thing is telling you. One of the things that I say when as a coach, I say, it's time to mind your mind. So you have to sit still sometimes and dissect what you're thinking, evaluate what you're thinking. And I have to do this, sit still and evaluate what it is that I am thinking. Why am I thinking it? And where did it come from? And I've had to do that myself. I've had to go to counseling. I had me a counselor. I went through counseling when I got divorced, and I went through counseling 7 years after my mom had passed away. I would still be grieving. The very fact that I'm sitting here doing this interview at this time, because this is around the time that my mom had passed away, February 10th. I was no good to nobody. No good, no good to nobody. I was presenting myself as okay, but I was no good to nobody when no one was around or when I would be home around my family or my husband at the time or my daughter. It wasn't until I went to counseling that I was able to fully grieve and then celebrate. So sometimes we have to get a coach. We have to have counseling. And then we have to take time to actually tell ourselves to stop thinking some things, to really overcome your own mind. You can train your own mind. You don't have to say, well, this is how I am. No, no matter how old you are, you can reverse some things. You can reverse actions. You can reverse what you are thinking. And I have to take the negative and then turn that negative around in a positive. I do affirmations. I have things posted up. I go to church. I do a meditation. I join different groups. My circle, I intentionally make sure that I am surrounded by people who will uplift me, people who will say, girl, you need to stop doing this. Girl, you need to stop doing that. Oh, come on, girl, let's go do this. Let's go do that. Let's get you out of this situation that you're in, this mindset that you're in right now. So your who you hang around is very important. What you watch on TV is very important. What you listen to on the radio is very important. Everything that's dealing with your mind is being influenced by everything in your life. So I have to make sure that I am putting good into my mind, and that helps counteract a lot of the negative that's out there. We live in a negative world, but yet in your own home and your own space, you have control of that. I have control of that. I keep my house quiet and peaceful. I have the music on, but I don't have negative people and drama in my house. When I moved, hardly anybody knows where I live, and I love that. I love that because I just need good environment. I need good energy. I need that for me. I'm in a place where I'm constantly evolving. I've been through various things in my life. So I have to make sure that I'm in a place where my mind is constantly being massaged with good energy, good intentions. So that helps me overcome the negative thoughts, the negative emotions. That's my advice. That's what I do for me.
That's great. And you covered a lot of other questions too down the road. So thank you. So the next question I have is, and I'm sorry about the loss of your mom, no matter how long it's been, but still, the next question I have is tying into, you were talking about some people that supported you, having the right people around you, being careful what you watch on TV, what you're ingesting. So what advice would you give to women who feel alone, right? Being single and going through that period of, divorce. What advice would you give to a woman that feels like they're alone in their healing or growth?
So the advice I would give to a woman is sometimes you do have to be alone. There are times when you have to be alone. And I want to use this analogy or this illustration. When a seed is planted, it's down in dark dirt. It's down in dark dirt in its own space. It's in its own space for a while. So it's uncomfortable, but yet it's in its own space, and it eventually takes its time and it sprouts out. And when it's in a garden, when it sprouts out, it's in a field with other plants, other vegetation. Sometimes you have to be alone. You have to be alone to deal with you. And I liken this to everybody felt the effects of COVID 2020. For me, that was a depressing year. Those first 8 months or so was depressing because I was always on the go, out and about, doing things. Even the job I had at the time, I was out in the community talking to people. I was just going, 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 going. But then when COVID came and everybody had to be still, And I had just moved into this gorgeous apartment and everything, but nobody was there. Nobody was there. My landlord lived nearby, but nobody was there. It was just me. But that's when I got my healing with my grief for my mom. That had passed away in 2014. I didn't get grief counseling until July of 2020. That's too long. It wasn't until I was still and dealing with myself that I got the healing, that I realized, oh, wow, I got to do something about this. And going back to what I said before, I got counseling. So I sat still and dealt with myself, realized that I have a problem, that I have an issue, and then I went and got counseling. So a woman that feels like she's by herself, when you are by yourself, what are you doing? Are you just constantly crying and crying and crying? Are you mad? Are you injuring yourself? Or are you making plans to be vindictive? Why? You got to analyze those negative emotions, negative intentions. And then if you are at a place where you can't overcome it on your own, you need to seek professional help. It's okay. It is super okay. If you have a problem with your heart and your heart's not pumping like it needs to be pumping, you're going to go get professional help for your heart. You can't heal the heart on your own. So do the same for your mental and emotional well-being. Go get professional help. I was in group counseling. So I was amongst other people as we all told our stories about why we were so sick, emotionally sick. There's group counseling, there's one-on-one counseling, and psychologists and psychologists, professionals. But you got to first deal with yourself to understand why you feel the way that you feel. You got to confront yourself. You got to go get in that mirror, look at yourself. And I mean, look in the mirror deeply. I do this still time to time. I look deeply in my eyes because your eyes tell the story of your soul. Look in that mirror, look deeply into your eyes. And when you start crying, that's the first part of you starting to deal with yourself. When you are looking at you in your own eyes and you start crying because now you see yourself. You see yourself out, not the external, the internal. That's the first part of you starting to deal with yourself. Then from there, get your counseling, start changing your circle. If you don't have people to say, girl, I'm feeling this way, man, I'm feeling this way, talk to me. What can I do? Because you don't have people that say, well, that will tell you, girl, you need to do this, you need to do that. You don't have the right circle of people. They're just saying, girl, you be all right. Come on, have this drink. And they're just constantly telling you to do different things that's just self-medicating. You need to change your circle. So that's my advice. So around the holidays, I was just in this rut. I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing my regular eating, things that I had promised myself I was going to do by the end of the year. I didn't do those things. But lo and behold, sit still at my desk and I start looking at my notes, my sticky notes and different things. I have a board right here. I have things right here. Workout Wednesday, work strategy Wednesday. So all those things are like telling me, oh, this is what you said you was going to do, remember? Oh, you said you was going to do this, remember? And then, like I said earlier, if you are connected and you have your friends or you have your social groups, you'll get those little dings. Hey, how you going? How things doing? I was in a hit your goal group and we got the notifications. How did you do with your goals this week? You didn't do your goals this week? All right, we got our meeting on this day. Make sure you're there for this meeting. And then they send a text message before the meeting. So it's all these different reminders that help me get back to it. Now, what I do want to give a little caution, there are times when you can sit still for a period of time and not be focusing on much of anything because sometimes you need that internal reset for yourself. And that internal reset is almost like when the time changes. We all feel a certain way when the time changes, but yet we adjust. You had that internal reset with yourself where you're sitting still, not doing anything or whatever, and then some little spark will just be like, okay, you done sat still for 2, 3 weeks now. Let's get up and go. So I don't want people to always be like, okay, I got to be on the go. I'm doing my meditation. I got to be doing this. I got to be up, 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 up. No, you don't have to always be up, 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 up. You can be still for a little bit and be doing absolutely nothing because that's what I was doing. But at the same time, you don't want that to be lasting for an indefinite amount of time because that's when the internal negative stuff will start really taking over. So for me, it was the group of people that I'm with, and then my internal thing just started saying, all right, girl, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Everybody is trying to do something the first of the year. Then it's your birthday or it's the seasons. If anything, I say go with the seasons. You got December, January, February, March. That's a quarter of the year. Then we got spring getting ready to come. What are you doing come spring? What is it that you can be excited about or plan for or do? Go with the seasons is the best thing that you could do if you don't have that support, if you don't have the network of people, you don't have the groups or anything. All right, it's the next season coming up. It's literally the next season coming up. Plan to do something then. That's the very basic thing that I advice that I can offer you. And that's one of the reasons why I became a life coach is because I want people to see themselves in the next phase of life. I see myself and a lot of people in their situations, and it makes me think back to what I was. Oh, yeah, I remember when. Or I sit back and I'm like, I do certain things because I know what it's like for someone to not be there. I know what it's like for someone to be going through so much and not have the support. So I'm hoping that my story will let you know that there are dark times, but then there are great times. I hope that my story will help someone say, you know what? I am in this depressed state and I need help. Let me go get some help. I hope that someone will say that if they're in a bad relationship, that they can tell themselves, I am much better than what I am being treated with. I hope that my story will encourage someone to just take a chance and do something new. I hope my story has helped someone that has been holding on to something that they truly, truly, truly in their heart want to try, but they're scared. I hope that the inspiration that someone needs, it sparks within them when they hear my story. The one thing someone can do is to sit still with themselves for 5 minutes for 7 days and just take time to analyze what they're thinking, how it makes them feel, and why they are thinking it. I vote for me means that I am secure in knowing my self-worth and that I am more than good enough. Choosing myself has changed my life in all aspects, from relationships to my purpose to what I do for a living, in that I am more secure. And when I'm secure, I'm more dependable. And when I'm dependable, I feel value. So choosing me has a multi-layer effect. And I just came to that realization by answering that question. So yes, choosing you and me choosing me and you choosing you is going to be a ripple effect. Self-worth means that I know that I am worthy. I know that I am capable, and I know that if it's something that I need to learn to do, that I can learn to do it. Self-worth means that my voice matters and that me and my whole being matters. It matters to me. And because it matters to me, it's going to matter to those who appreciate me.